Once again, we are here. You are watching Key Mama Show. My name is Catherine Cujo, popularly known as Key Mama. And today, our guests, some of you have heard about his writings, his work. You know, he has done so many things behind the scene. And today, I say, you know what? You've done a lot. Let me bring you on to Key Mama Show. But today, specifically, we are going to talk about Tetteh Quashie. If this is the first time you're hearing the name, it's not about the ordinary Tetteh Quashie that you know, but it's the Tetteh Quashie who brought cocoa to Ghana. This man knows in and out about Tetteh Quashie. Like one time, from a nutshell, you know, he can give you all the information. Once again, I'd like to welcome you, Mr. Tetteh, to Key Mama Show.
Thank you very much. I'm so grateful for having me on the show. Thank you.
You're welcome. So, like I said, I gave like a brief background about you. Please kindly tell us who you are when we hear like Mr. Tetteh. Who is Mr. Tetteh?
Tetteh is a man of many parts. I am by blood a Krobo from Yilo Krobo in the eastern region of Ghana. But I grew up in Dentra, so I see myself as Dentra as well. And then I served my uncle under his cocoa farm at Wasa Memfi East, near Wasa Kropong. So you can see that, yes, I am born Krobo, but I grew up in Dentra and Wasa, and I have allegiance to them as well. I had my primary education from a small village near Kluagogo called Esium. Then from Esium, I moved when I was in primary 3 to my uncle, who is a cocoa farmer and who virtually brought me up. So I also attended Manfokrom DC Primary School in the Wasa Memfi district. From there, I moved on to St. Anthony Anglican School in Dunkwanofe. Upon graduation, I had to go back to the village to serve my uncle for 2 years on his cocoa farm. So I missed the opportunity to continue just after basic school. 2 years later, I gained admission to Dunkwao Secondary Technical School, where I studied agricultural science. When I graduated, I went back to the village to serve my uncle another 2 years. And then in 1997, I gained admission to Kwadaso Agricultural College, where I studied 3 years at general agricultural science. And then after that, I did my national service by teaching at Kluagogo Senior High School. I taught agricultural science from SHS 1, 2, 3. And I won the overall Best District Personnel, National Personnel Award of the Year. Immediately the service was over, I got employment with Cash Flow. There was then an NGO in Ghana that was into cocoa and cashew called Cash Flow. So they took me to Sefi area. Honestly, I spent only 1 month and left the place because I had no access to daily graphic, no news, nothing. It was really interior. I'm not to say I'm despising the place, but because I personally grew up in a cocoa farm, but that place was interior of the interior. So I came back to Accra and then I applied to go to University of Ghana. So I went to University of Ghana to study general agricultural science and I majored in agri-economics. At the end of the day, I was awarded diploma in general agriculture. So I again gained employment with Agromite. It's vegetable growing and exporting company based on the Volta Basin around Asisewa area. So I worked for a while and I gained another employment with Money Glory Montessori School in Teshinungwaya Estate. I taught there for 6 years. Whilst teaching, I applied again to go to Central University. So I went to Central University to study agribusiness management for first degree. And currently I am at University of Ghana studying MPhil in migration studies. Yes, Professor Tetteh has been involved in a couple of things. One of them is I am the brain behind the formation of Tetteh Quashie Heritage Foundation, I'm also behind the Henry Jabba Business School. I'm behind the Dentra Youth Congress. The Build Bolsa Conference is an association for the Bolsa people in the Upper East region. I'm also behind the Center for EHT Center for EHT Kobo Center for Leadership and Governance Studies. I've been involved in a couple of things because I believe in transformation. Yes, in politics, I've done a couple of politics before. I'm an Nkrumahist to the core, and I'm not apologetic at all being an Nkrumahist. So I was once upon a time the national youth organizer for the Convention People's Party, the party that brought Ghana independence. I've tried twice to go to parliament. I didn't succeed. But now, no more politics. I'm focusing on community development. That's why about me, Francis Tetteh. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And you have given me so much information. And not just me, but for the viewers and the listeners as we are here. But let me, for you giving me all this information, and why, before we dive into Tetteh Quashie, um, birthday achievement and stuff, why do you veer from the education sector?
Well, I love to teach. So when you see most of the things I'm doing, I'm always engaged in one way in teaching, one way or the other. I have not run away from the educational sector, and I would never run away. I have served. In fact, I forgot to even mention that once upon a time, I was the registrar for Accra Business School. It is a school located on the Spintex Road, one of the topmost universities in Ghana. We do MBA. We run courses for universities in UK and Australia. We are also, it's a school that is affiliated to KNUST. I have been a registrar there before. I have also taught some of their professional courses. I've lectured on most of their professional courses. I'm also the founder of the Global Union of Sunday School Teachers, an organization that is bringing transformation to teachers who find themselves in the church, teaching children and adults on Sundays and days after. So my whole life is all about teaching. I love to teach. And don't forget, I applied to go to Wesley Training College in Kumasi. And because I was on the cocoa farm at the village, when my admission letter inviting me to an interview came, I didn't see it on time. So the interview was over before the letter was brought to me in the village. And when I went to Kumasi, Wesley College in Kumasi, admission had already been done, and there was nothing they could do about it. Wow. So the only option was to go to Kwara Swagre College. So teaching has been my thing, and I will not run away from teaching.
Oh, okay, okay. So, like you said, you gave us the background of your profession, education, and everything. Why are you so passionate about Gadangbe issues?
You see, one of the strategic ethnic groups in Ghana is the Gadangbe ethnic group. Like I told you, I am a Krobo, but that means that I'm a Gadangbe. But I grew up in Dentra. Dentra people gave me education. They gave me everything that I need to become who I am today. So I also have allegiance to Dentra. When it was time for me to marry, I had to go to Bolsa in the Upper East region. So for me, I'm for Ghana. But you see, the people called the Gadangwe people are unique people. And most of the time, people, when you look at the social media, some things that are happening on the social media, they kind of disrespect, insults, and statements that are not in good shape, that are directed to Gadangwe people, is quite unfortunate. When you look at the Gadangwe people, they are the people we can say that they are located at the center of the world. What I mean by the center of the world, Gadangwe is where we are located in Greater Accra and parts of Eastern and Volta region. We are directly on the prime meridian and then the equator. So this makes us the people at the center of the world. And the Bible says that God lives at the center of the world. So Gadangwe people are God's own people. They are one thing about them is that they love strangers. Don't forget that formerly the capital of Ghana was in Cape Coast, but coincidentally it has to be brought to Accra. The Ghana people didn't fight for it. They didn't go to fight for the national capital, but the ability to trade and the hospitality nature brought the national capital here. Yes, they have, when it comes to trade and commerce, the Ghana Dangwe people used to be in the forefront. Then when you talk about people who know how to welcome strangers, the Gadangwe people, well, that's why they gave some of their land to be free for people to live on. When you go to the Ghana state, they even created a whole division called Otublohum for people who are naturally not Ghans. Okay. When you go to Otublohum, the three tribes there, Tabom were freed slaves from Brazil. The Dadeban people were dangerous. Etifin people were Akwamu people. And Ghana state created a whole division and gave it to people who are naturally not Ghans. So Gadangwe people are extraordinary people. When you look at the struggle for independence, how Akwaje introduced Nkrumah to the UGCC, how he declared the boycott of European goods in 1948. When you look at Sergeant Ajete and Cooperativo, when in every level of struggle in this country, both political and economic, you see the Gadangwe people playing pioneering role. But unfortunately, it looks as if in everything today, the Gadangwe people have been relegated to the background. And I think it's not too good. And that you come, somebody has given you his land to live on. Now you wake up and say that he's stupid for giving you his land to live on. Somebody has given you his place to live. Today, you say that his language is subservient. His language will be thrown into the gutter and your language will prevail. I don't think is good. So I'm passionate about Gadangwe because I believe it's an ethnic, is a very brilliant and God-giving ethnic group, but it's in crisis right now. And something must be done to help the Gadangwe people to get up and keep moving.
Yes. Thank you for giving us some insights about the Dangbe people. But I think that will be for us to go detail. That will be another segment on Key Mama Show to talk about who the Dangbes really are.
Yeah. So let me let viewers know which areas in Ghana constitute Gadangbe. Okay. We are talking about Ada people. We are talking about Agotime. The Evers call them Agotime Apegame, but in Dangbe we call them Agotumwengwam. In fact, between Agotime and Dahome in Benin, there are 37 Dangbe communities.
Wow.
So yes. Then when you come to Yilo Krobo, Manya Krobo, Osudoku, Ningo, Pram, Boom, Shai, or in Dangbe we call it Se, but the English people couldn't say Se and they ended up saying Shai. Then Tema, Nongwa, La, Osu, Teshin, English Yalata, and Gamashi. All these areas in the whole of Greater Accra, parts of Eastern and Volta regions, constitute the Gadangbe enclave.
Okay. Thank you. So I think next time you visit Key Mama Show, we are going to talk more about the Gadangbe tribes, like you mentioned, just a short about 30-something, the Dangbe languages. And wow, I never knew.
I saw one of your shows focused on Osudoku, and I must say thank you, Key Mama, for the great thing you are doing. That was a magnificent production. I saw Reverend Loris Amati gave some insight about the Sudoku people, the challenges they have and the opportunities that are there. Amazing video. Kimama, I salute you.
Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Now let's move on to our main topic, which is the works of Tetteh Quashie. We are in the month of March. And what is special about the 27th March, when that day comes up or that day about to come? What rings a bell in your mind?
Thank you very much. 27th March is a special day because that was the day on which Tetteh Quashie was born. Tetteh Quashie was born on 27th March, which is a Sunday, 1842 at La in Accra. So 27th March is an important date for us, those who are close, those of us who are either doing a project for Tetteh Quashie or family members. Is very, very important date on our calendar. He was born on 27th March 1842 and died on 25th December 1892. So he spent only 50 years on the earth.
That he did a marvelous work. So
Yes.
kindly give us a background about Tetteh Quashie for those hearing the name the first time.
Okay, so Kimama, Tetteh Quashie was an amazing guy. He was born, a lot of history writers gave all manner of conflicting stories about who Tetteh Quashie and his origin and everything. But today, whatever I'm going to share with you is what has been told by Kolai, Tetteh Quashie's granddaughter, who received most of the awards on behalf of Tetteh Quashie, the account he gave. This is what I'm coming to share with you and your viewers today. So Tetteh Quashie's father was called Numo Yemo Ashon, or you can call him Numo Ashon Yemo from La. He came from Lenshinklan in La. Lenshinklan from La. Then the mother was Madame Achwe Ajay. Did I mention the name where? Achwe.
Yes.
Good. So Tetteh Quashie's father was Numo Ashon Yemo from Lenshinklan in La. Then the mother also comes from Ajay Nkpawe, and her name was Achwe, Madame Achwe Ajay. So when they married, they first gave birth to a boy called Odwe, but Odwe didn't survive. He died at a young age. Then the second boy was Tetteh Quashie. So that's the reason why they gave him the name Tetteh. And he was also born, I told you, he was born on Sunday. So he was supposed to be Tetteh Quashie or something. And then when Tetteh Quashie was still young, the mother died. So first, his elder brother Odwe died. Then later, whilst he was still young, the mother died. So when the mother died, the father married again. He married a woman called Antinkpa. So I'm sure she's also from the Nkpa family or the Nkpawe in La. And they gave birth to a boy called Odwe Dean. So when you go to La, the Odwe Dean family in La is a half brother to Tetteh Quashie. Then, not long after Odwe Dean was born, Tetteh Quashie's father, Numo Ashon Yembo, also died. So now Tetteh Quashie's elder brother was gone, the mother was gone, the father was also gone. So Tetteh Quashie is somehow, some way has become a complete orphan. Not long after, the stepmother, Auntie Nkpa, also got married. And then took his son Odwe Dean to go and live in her husband's house. It was at this point that Tetteh Quashie's paternal uncle, called Ata Jete, came for Tetteh Quashie to go and live with him. And Tetteh Quashie's uncle, although he's from La, or he was from La, he was then living at Osu. So he took Tetteh Quashie along with him to go and live at Osu. So a lot of historians, a lot of people have always attributed Tetteh Quashie's origin as Osu. Others also said that he came from Tetteh.
But actually, the origin from La.
Yes, his true origin, mother, father were both from La.
Okay.
But he grew up in Osu. And that's why he became known as a native of Osu.
Okay.
Yeah, so today, when you get to Atos Bar, there's a bus stop called Tetteh bus stop in Osu. That bus stop was named after Tetteh Quashie's uncle, who came for him from Osu.
Oh, okay.
So anytime at all you get to Osu and you hear the trotro driver shouting, "Hey, bus stop at Tetteh," it has something to do with Tetteh Quashie. Tetteh Quashie, whilst growing up, he was involved in a couple of things. Tetteh Quashie was very, very hardworking and was industrious. And I believe because he lost all parents, he realized that there was nobody, so he had to fight his own battle. So he learned a couple of things. One, he learned to become a shoemaker. He was a very, very good shoemaker, but his shoes were not able to compete with shoes that were imported from Europe as at the time. Another thing he did was that the missionaries also engaged him and trained him as a cook. So Tetteh Quashie was a professional cook.
Oh.
Before he got opportunity to go and learn to become a blacksmith.
Right.
Growing up, Tetteh Quashie met a beautiful lady called Dede from Jamaku in Ningo, Old Ningo.
Right.
And he fell in love with a young lady called Dede because Dede's parents, although they were from Jamaku in Ningo, they were living in Osu at the time. So Tetteh Quashie fell in love with Dede, and then they got married.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave birth to only one child called Odole. I don't know whether I mentioned it very well. It's a Ghana name.
Yes.
Odole. So Odole also gave birth to 4 girls. The first one was called Day, and the day that was shortened to become Day. And then the second one was Kolai, the Koko, and then Shome and Ashuokai. So these 3 daughters became the foundation of Tetteh Quashie. Because I'm saying that because now if you want to trace Tetteh Quashie's heritage or lineage, you have to consider all these 4 granddaughters.
Okay.
So the Dede, which was shortened Day, her lineage are the Okantes around Atos Bar.
Mr. Pai, network.
Family there.
Okay. Welcome back.
Yes. So the Okante family are the generation from the Dede. Then the Koko, he was the last to die. I think he died after Ghana at 50.
Okay, recent, not too long. We are having a network issue, but it's in and out. Mr. Paite.
Akle gave birth to Hetty, and Hetty gave birth to Robert Tetteh Ajase, who works at the office of the president. He is in charge of assets, revenue, asset, and border protection.
Okay.
Robert Tetteh Ajase. So I am tracing the lineage of Tetteh Quashie from one of the granddaughters, the Kolei.
Okay.
Kolei gave birth to Akle. Akle gave birth to Hetty. Hetty gave birth to Robert Tetteh Ajase.
Okay.
Good. So apart from learning to become a shoemaker, a professional cook, and all of that, Tetteh Quashie was also involved in loading and offloading of cargo from ships when they docked at Osu. There used to be some mini ports some time ago during the colonial days, not far from the Osu castle, and ships came to dock there. And whenever they brought goods from Europe, Tetteh Quashie was part of the boys who were engaged to offload for a fee. And then when they're about to go to Europe, all the things they bought, he will also take part in the loading of those items as well. He was doing all manner of everything to survive as a young man. So in 1870, when Tetteh Quashie was about 28 years old, the British government in UK or in London bought an island called Fernand de Pau. It wasn't far from Cameroon. The island is not far from Cameroon. And the idea was that the British government wanted to use that island to stop the transatlantic slave trade. So they had to dispatch officers from the Christianborg Castle in Osu to Fernand Depot. And because Tetteh Quashie was in charge of their menu, he was cooking for them at the time, they decided to go with him. The man was a shoemaker, the man was a blacksmith, the man was a cook, he was everything. So when he was going to Fernand Depot with this team, he went along with his work tools, his toolbox. Mm-hmm. So when they got to Fernand Depot, one of the things that was used for breakfast that the people there did not joke with at all was cocoa beverage. So that is where Tetteh Quashie's interest in cocoa was developed. What about this crop that in the morning people will eat it, and they will eat it with all the excitement you can see. Then in the evening when they are going to bed, they eat it. So when he asked about it, he was told that cocoa is the food of the gods. Okay. And in fact, that is how, a Swedish agronomist named it Theobroma Kakao, meaning food of the gods. Okay. So he experimented how to grow the cocoa there, and he saw that it could be grown and all of that. So Tetteh Quashie went to Fernand Depot. Now that place is called Equatorial Guinea. So when it was a time for Tetteh Quashie to come, that was in 1876. Tetteh Quashie concealed in his toolbox, he packed 11 pots of cocoa in his toolbox and packed his tools on top. So some historians will tell you that Tetteh Quashie swallowed cocoa beans.
Yes, I'm about to ask that question.
And came to Ghana to Pupu.
Yes.
And collected the beans from the Pupu and planted it. That is a cheap history, and it's a very unfortunate one to be told to the next generation.
That's what we know.
Yes. So it was illegal to take cocoa from Fernand Depot. It was illegal, but then Tetteh Quashie didn't swallow. Although he smuggled the beans, he didn't swallow it. He put them in his toolbox and put his tools on top and brought them. Tetteh Quashie arrived at Osu in 1876 and then went to his backyard to plant the cocoa. He planted several of them. It didn't work. And then a cultural extension officer came around and told him, Tetteh Quashie, the thing you are trying to plant is a tree crop. Tree crops normally don't do well at the coastal belt. So take them to the higher grounds, the forest belt, around the Suhum, Ekwapim, Achim areas, Ashanti areas, or the western, those places where there's forest. That is where this crop will grow well. So Tetteh Quashie packed the remaining of the pots to climb the Ekwapim mountain. He went to Ekwapim. They were very hostile to him. He went to Busumasi. They were still hostile to him. It was when he got to...
Why? Do you know why they were hostile to him?
Well, I can't tell. But normally in the olden days, when you see a stranger, you have to look at him twice. He could be somebody who's coming to gather information for your enemy to come and fight. You remember that during those days, there were a lot of tribal wars, fighting to dominate, to possess lands, and then to get people, capture them, to either go and sell them as slaves or come and add them to your number so that your population will be large. So there were a lot of tribal wars at the time. So they probably might have suspected him as somebody who was coming to fish for information for the Ghana people to come and fight the Kapims on the mountain. So they were very hostile to him. Whatever I've said is just a guess. I don't know why they were hostile to him. All that I have said is just a guesswork. So Tutu Ekwapim was hostile to him. Ekwapim, Obusumase people were also hostile to him. And you see, one thing about the Tetteh Quashie story that is amazing is that the guy doesn't give up. From the day he lost mother, father, and the stepmother also deserted him, He has approached life with a mindset of forward march, backward never. So Tutu was hostile, he moved to Obosumasi. Obosumasi was hostile, he moved to Ekuape Mampong. And it was at Ekuape Mampong that the Odompre family gave him a portion of land to experiment his idea. And by 1879, Tetteh Quashie has successfully raised a cocoa plantation, and he was giving the seeds to the neighboring farmers in the Kapim area, in Sawam, Eburi, Suhum. And from that humble beginning, cocoa spread to all the forest belts within the country. By 1893, Ghana did the first ceremonial shipping of cocoa from Ghana. And by 1911, Ghana was the leading producer of cocoa in the whole world. We maintained that position until 1983, when a nationwide bushfire devoured or destroyed the entire cocoa plantations in Ghana, and we lost our position to Ivory Coast. Currently, we are producing about between 800 to 1 million metric tons annually. Ivory Coast is doing 1.5 million metric tons. So if you want to beat Ivory Coast, we really need to work very hard. About 1.6 million people are employed within the cocoa value chain.
Mm-hmm.
And annually, we receive about $4 billion from the cocoa sector. So that is all that I know about Tetteh Quashie and his achievement.
Wonderful. You know more. You really, really educate us about Tetteh Quashie. But from your point of view, now Ivory Coast is leading. Although Tetteh Quashie brought cocoa to Ghana and we were leading until 1983. Do you think we are progressing into coming back to where we were before, or there is some challenges facing in the farming with cocoa? Is there something why it's not growing faster, or is there something happening within why we cannot come back to the way we were at the top, or we will be able to compete with Ivory Coast?
Yeah, you see, some of us always refer to Tetteh Quashie as the father of cocoa in West Africa. It's not only Ghana.
Mm-hmm.
Originally, the cocoa research in Ghana at Achimtafo was called West Africa Cocoa Research Institute. Now it has been changed to Ghana, the Cocoa Research Institute of Ghana. It used to be West Africa. So from Mampong Ekuapem, cocoa spread to all the forest belt in Ghana, and it continued to Togo, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, and even Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
So Tetteh Quashie's efforts did not even end in Ghana. If we want to talk about Kwame Nkrumah and the Big Six, they gave us political independence. But if you want to talk about the person who gave Ghana an economic independence, is Tetteh Quashie. Yes, the cocoa sector is struggling now. And it is very unfortunate that the politicians are paying lip service to the sector. Yes, whenever Ghana cedi is in crisis, we use cocoa to go and get dollar to come and pump into the economy, and all of a sudden the economy will rejuvenate or will become tough or strong again. But when you go to the cocoa sector, we are paying lip service. Recently, my uncle called me and said, son, all our cocoa that we have sold, they have not paid us up to date. For crying out loud, cocoa business is a difficult thing to do. After growing the cocoa to bear, you go and harvest it when it ripes. You carry it one by one from there and go and heap them somewhere. Then later carry them to a place that you can bring people to come and break the cocoa and scoop them from the pod. Then you ferment it for about 5 to 7 days. You go and carry it from there to a platform. You stir it for not less than 3 weeks before it will dry. And after that, you carry it on your head to the cocoa shed for them to weigh and pay you. And if the farmer has gone through all these laborious activities. And at the end of the day, you buy the cocoa and you don't pay him, you are not making the cocoa sector very attractive. Cocoa farmers, if I am a teacher, I get monthly pay, I get SNIT contributions. When I'm on retirement, they give me my retirement package that I can enjoy till I'm called into internal rest. Is that not it?
Right.
Go to the cocoa growing areas. You will see people who are 80 years old that have grown cocoa. They've grown cocoa to make Ghana great and strong. Now they are 80 years old, 90 years old, very weak. There's nothing to cushion them at their old age. Their children and grandchildren have left to the cities to come and look for greener pastures. And they are there in the village. There's no social security for the cocoa farmers. I think we are not thinking the intelligentsia in Ghana is not innovative enough to address some of the needs of the farmers. The next thing that is happening right now, I just watched a video. I don't know whether you were the one who shared that video with me. I saw a video and I was so sad. You could see somebody who has invested his time, his energy, his money to grow a cocoa farm. The next moment, Chinese illegal miners have taken an excavator to his cocoa farm and they deplete. Come again?
They destroyed the farm.
Yeah, they depleted the entire cocoa farm. And now there's nobody to report to. He went to the police station and could see that this farmer has virtually nobody to report to. So if you go to some parts of the Western region, people are cutting down their cocoa trees and they are growing rubber. Oh. It's a very pathetic story. We are not doing much for the cocoa industry. We are just paying lip service. Go to Ghana Cocoa Board and go and see the number of Land Cruisers that are parked there. And then go and see how many of the farmers' children, until the government introduced free senior high school, there was cocoa scholarship for cocoa farmers. But how many of the cocoa farmers' children got those opportunities? You ask of troubles, so I'm giving you the troubles in the industry.
We know the troubles. So how can we, from your point of view again, I don't know how, but from your point of view, how do you think this could be resolved? Because this is a serious issue that one, the cocoa farmers are not motivated enough for the young generation to enter into the cocoa farming. Also, there is no assurance when they retire or a health coverage for them. What do you think can be done to help this issue? What advice do you have? Because we have Minister for Cocoa Board, and they are earning six figures and up. So what do you think can be done? And some of the scholarship you mentioned are not even being utilized by the farmers' children to benefit from it. So there is nothing to attract the younger ones that come in to enter into cocoa farming. What do you think can be done?
First and foremost, the scholarship scheme, the Act of Parliament that created the scholarship scheme was for senior high school education. Unfortunately, Nana Ado's administration has made education free in Ghana. So I believe that they need to review that policy to now let people at the tertiary level access that facility. I don't think that government should wait for me or somebody to go and tell them that, look, you created the Ghana Cocoa Board Scholarship for senior high school education. Now, education is free in Ghana. So review that policy and carry it to the tertiary level. The next thing is, you see, Galamsey, the illegal mining in Ghana, has gone out of hand. No matter if Nanado goes to Adan to eat one bag of Adan salt, he cannot stop Galamsey.
Why?
Yes, it has gone out of hand. The cartel that is behind Galamsey right now is unstoppable. It's simply unstoppable. But what we are saying is that after they have damaged the land, they've turned the soil upside down and they have taken the gold out, they should have the common sense to put back the soil. Almost all the cocoa growing areas in Ghana coincidentally happen to be the gold belts. And people are digging left, right, polluting waters, now depriving farmers of even ordinary water to drink. So what I think the government should be doing right now, it should be investing in putting back the soil where it belonged. They should be covering the pits they have dug, because you can't stop the galamsey. Now it is out of hand. That is my personal opinion. There's no way Nanado can stop it, or the government, the MPP government can stop it. And I don't think any government that will come after them can stop it. But the thing we should be doing right now is to be covering the pits, so that areas where they have covered the pits and they have grown crops there, the crops have even yielded better than previously.
Okay.
So one of the things government should be looking at is to how to cover those pits and then make those lands available again for farming. That we should do. The other thing we need to do is to look at the welfare of the cocoa farmers. We are boasting and driving. We go there, cocoa brings us $4 billion US annually. If we don't pay attention to the welfare of the farmers, the truth of the matter is that the farmers are aging. The new generation is interested in gold, not cocoa, because cocoa takes a long time. They are interested in instant wealth. So they are busily digging for gold. If they won't dig for gold, they will travel abroad. So the cocoa farmers are aging and they are not even getting replacement. That should be another source of worry for the government. Then,
Mr. Tetteh, I'd like to come in here. We know government. What about the chiefs? We cannot do without chiefs, because in every community or in every town, every village, there's some sort of chief over there. These chiefs are the ones that take care of the land. So before anyone will come to your land to do something, there's a caretaker. And if such thing is going on, people farming, farms are being destroyed and stuff, what are our chiefs doing?
yes, the chiefs are the custodians of the land, but chiefs are not policy makers. Chiefs don't implement policy. Policy making and implementation are sole responsibility of the government. And that's why we are saying government. Yes, the chiefs, because cocoa doesn't make sense to them anymore, they are giving out the land for galamsey. So the chiefs are now partakers. That's why I'm saying that the cartel that is handling the illegal mining in Ghana today is so sophisticated. The politicians are involved, the chiefs are involved, our security agents, personnel are involved. Everybody is involved. The Chinese are in it big time. Wow. So it has become a no-go area. You arrest an illegal miner today, the next moment the call comes through that let go. It's so sad. The chiefs have a role to play, but I'm saying that they are the same people who are giving out their lands for people to dig them for gold. So they don't even have that moral authority to go back and talk about or complain about what do you call it, the problems in the cocoa sector. But don't forget, we don't pay taxes to our chiefs. We pay taxes to government. So if there's anything to be done, we hold government accountable. Government has all the security agencies to enforce whatever law he wants to enforce. So the whole thing also ends with the government to take action. You and I have a responsibility. But like I said, today, the average young man in the cocoa growing area want to dig for gold and not to grow cocoa. The hybrid, the improved variety of cocoa takes 3 years to come into fruition or bearing. When you plant it, you have to weed around it 3 years before it will start giving you fruit. I'm telling you that the kind of generation we have today, the youth we have today, they drive on an express road, they eat instant food, they have instant cameras, they have instant everything. So they don't have time for your 3-year cocoa. They want to dig for gold and get money. No.
But like you said, everything is instant. But
yes,
there's a way out. Maybe this is my opinion. Maybe we can send a proposal, or someone can send a proposal to the government and then say, hey, we are starting this initiative. And, we want a grant to, start planting cocoa in this certain lands, like you mentioned, fill out the whatever the Galamsey space area. This is an initiative and needs grants for the laborers to work on the land and so forth. Maybe some proposal can go out for the government to step in that area. Anyway, viewers and listeners, you are watching Key Mama Show, and every Wednesday we have a conversation, one-to-one interview, exclusive interview, whatever that you name it, right here every Wednesday. Today we have our guest, Mr. Opai Tetteh, on, and we are talking about the works of Tetteh Quashie, the works of Tetteh Quashie. But every now and then we interject with, you can't speak about Tetteh Quashie without speaking whatever is going on the land issue and the chieftaincy issue and the government issue. It's all intertwined. So that's why, you can see us flipping back and forth. But Mr. Paitete, a few days to Tetteh Quashie celebration. What is in place to celebrate this wonderful man? Is there the government has put a provision aside to have a massive
Hello, Key Mama.
something?
Sorry about the noise at my background. Please forgive me, okay?
That's okay. We understand.
Yeah. Yes. I understand.
Okay, the network breaking a little bit. Tech.
Your point. Ghana Cocoa Board itself.
Okay, please come again. Can you?
Even Ghana Cocoa Board itself,
right,
used to have what we call the cocoa plantations. Go today and ask Ghana Cocoa Board, where are your cocoa plantations that used to exist in the 70s, 80s, and thereafter? Where are your cocoa farms? Even Cocoa Board himself has relegated the idea of owning cocoa plantation to the background.
Today, Mr. Paitete giving us a good information and education at the same time about the cocoa issue and things that are going behind doors at the Cocoa Board. And Ghana is known for its cocoa production, but due to instant revenues and stuff, we are falling behind. So that is where now, and also Tetteh Quashie birthday is coming up. So Mr. Paitete is going to tell us how this celebration will come, or if something is being planned or something. Okay.
Kim, I hope you can hear me.
Yes, now I can hear you.
Yeah, so I'm saying that the Ghana Cocoa Board, that is supposed to lead the way for people to follow, he has left the road, and the road is bushy now. That aside, the young people who will go into the farming are not attracted to the cocoa sector at all. Because if I'm here and my uncle at his age has sold cocoa and up to now he has not been paid, you want to say that that will attract me to go into cocoa farming? No. As we speak, there is a company, I think it's a French company or so, that is in Ghana, that is promoting rubber plantation. They will give you money to clear the land. They will give you money to buy the rubber seedlings. They will give you money when you plant it. They will give you money to weed around it. They will give you money to maintain the farm till they start harvesting the rubber. And then when they start harvesting, the money they've given you, they will take small, that you even feel it from the process that you'll be getting. Nobody who is doing cocoa farm gets such incentives. So if the company is doing it for rubber farmers, because of that, I will have to go and look for my land. I will have to go and clear the land, grow the cocoa, go through all the pain. Then I'll go and sell cocoa, and then the pay will delay in coming. Meanwhile, rubber plantation, they'll give you money from the scratch to finish. So as we speak, people are giving their old cocoa farms to rubber plantation. They are cutting them down and they are growing rubber instead. So these are some of the petty things. Aside that, we also have the disease issues. There's a disease called a viral disease called swollen shoot disease. which is a serious issue in Ghana that the farmers are battling now. The original Tetteh Quashie cocoa used to withstand some of these diseases, but the hybrid, the new or the improved varieties, do not really have that capacity to withstand some of these diseases. So that is also a problem.
They affect the crops, the trees, the cocoa trees.
Hello, Kimama.
The disease affects the cocoa trees, the cocoa
Yes,
crops.
it affects the cocoa trees, and it also affects the yield of the farm. So swollen shoots is another challenge that government is also dealing with. The issue of fertilizer to farmers. The fertilizer was supposed to be free, but now I learned the farmers are buying. How many of them will have the money to buy the fertilizer to apply on the cocoa farm? So what we are saying is that government, not only the current government, but government of the past and those that are yet to come, they should stop paying lip service to the cocoa sector and go down there and work. I'm saying that the lands that have been destroyed because of galamsey, they should go and cover them so that we can go back and grow cocoa. It will do well. Mm-hmm. So we have a responsibility. We have a real responsibility as a people.
Okay. So I would like to ask again, is there a celebration for Tetteh Quashie's birthday?
Yes. Since about 5 years ago, I organized Tetteh Quashie Karendorf Biographical Summit at Osu Presbyterian Church. Tetteh Quashie and Karendorf were all from Osu. And Karendorf, I celebrated him because when the old Drabin people moved out of Drabin as refugees, they were wondering about, there was nowhere for them to stay. It was a gunman called Karendorf who went to see the governor at the Gold Coast, at the Christianborg Castle. And together with the governor, they went to see Ochihene, and Ochihene ceded part of Ochi land and gave it to the Drabin people who moved out of Drabin because of war. And now that place is called New Drabin, and their capital is Koforidua. The question is, how many of the people of New Drabin are aware that it was a gunman who facilitated for them to get the land that they have? It's not only Koforidua. From Koforidua, Efijase, Asokore, Jumapo, Akwedum, Oyoko, up to Nankese, all those lands that belongs to New Drabin today, it was a gunman who facilitated that process. So I brought Tetteh Quashie and Karendorf together for a biographical summit. Biographical summit means we're just going to tell the story of their achievement to motivate the youth to also strive to do better than they have done. And at the end of that summit, I sent a concept paper to one of the great grandsons of Tetteh Quashie called Tetteh Quashie, Tetteh Quashie. And then when he saw the concept paper, he went to his wallet and gave him money to go and register it. And that is how come the Tetteh Quashie Heritage Foundation was born. We don't want to be talking about cocoa because Tetteh Quashie brought it. We want to be involved in the cocoa farming as well. So as we speak, we have gone to Nieve in the forest belt of the Volta region and acquired 250 acres of land. And we are growing cocoa on it in honor of Tetteh Quashie. When we are done cultivating the entire land, that will become the biggest cocoa plantation in one location in Ghana owned by an entity. We have started, currently, we just started with 7,000 seedlings, and they are doing very, very well. And we are going to expand it to, we are done. We want to say thank you to Mr. Bayori for giving us a very big pump machine to pump water onto the cocoa farm. We are so grateful to him. So that is one thing we are doing. The chief of Nieve has also given us a place. We'll set up a guest house so that people who want to see our cocoa farm can come and sleep there, eat there, and then go and see our cocoa farm. So these are the things we are doing to celebrate Tetteh Quashie on the 27th, we are doing something extraordinary. We have written to Ghana government, the government of Ghana, to tell him about some of the challenges the family is going through. And I must say that I'm so grateful to Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. His response, which has come to us a few days ago, very, very positive. And that is our joy for the 27th. We are not going to hold any deba or any event. We are going to engage government on the response they have given us. And then we want to, not going through the entire thing, government is ready to renovate Tetteh Quashie's house at Osu, to make it a historic monument. Government is ready to do something to bring about improvement in the life of people that are related to Tetteh Quashie. And I'm not here, the family and the Tetteh Quashie Heritage Foundation are not giving me the opportunity to come out with the entire content of the communique that has come out of the president, but I can assure you that we are all excited about it, and we are so grateful to the government that at least they've listened to us and they are ready to take action. So for us, Tetteh Quashie's 179 years celebration is the response that we have gotten from government, and we are going to build upon it right from there.
So in few days, we are going to see the response from the government and the celebration of Tetteh Quashie, and some of his works, his legacy will be preserved through this step you have taken and the approval of the government of Ghana. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. That's correct. In fact, like I said, the response is very good. Government has also directed us as a foundation, as a family, some few things we should do to assess the kind of help government wants to give the family. Is a very good news to us. And we can assure you that the 179th birthday of Tetteh Quashie is a glorious one.
I'm glad to hear. And I'm looking forward that this year forward, we'll be able to celebrate Tetteh Quashie's birthday like every other government or leaders that we have, like we have Independence Day. I think my opinion is that we have to have a Tetteh Quashie holiday, because Tetteh Quashie toil, sweat, sacrifice, and everything make Ghana to become to the top. So he needed to be celebrated very well. So as you are leading, Mr. Tetteh, the delegation to put in place the Tetteh Quashie legacy to be functioning, I would also like to throw in that you put in a day, which is his birthday, to be an official holiday to be celebrated by Tetteh Quashie, because his sacrifice, it wasn't a joke. He laid his life down. So that's my take. I know some people might agree, some people might not agree, but such a person needs to be celebrated especially. So the generation that will come will know that, yes, this man who brought cocoa to Africa, and not just to Ghana, but not just Ghana, but Africa as a whole, has a day that everyone celebrated, and we will showcase some of the products that come out from cocoa. I hope you agree with this suggestion.
I agree with you absolutely. From 1893 up to date, the Tetteh Quashie story will never die. It has never died and would never die. Where I really see that so many holidays in Ghana already. So what we are looking for is an innovative means to celebrate the legacies of Tetteh Quashie. For instance, not to sound ethnocentric or biased, when you look at some of our currencies, the cedi notes of the past and today, when you go to some of the state facilities in this country, like 37 Military Hospital, you will find a ward dedicated to Yasantua. You used to find Yasantua's image on our money. Yasantua fought for Ashanti for God's sake. He fought for Ashanti. He did not fight for Ghana. Yasantua fought for Ashanti Kingdom. She did not fight for Ghana. But we have her image on our money, our city note. Tetteh Quashie, who introduced cocoa in 1879 and up to date, cocoa has become the mainstay of our economy. Have you ever seen anything of his on even our coins? The 10 peso coin?
No.
Yes, those are the kind of celebrations we are talking about. When you come to the national capital, we have Nkrumah Runabout. When you go there, you find Nkrumah statue. We have JB Dankwa Runabout. When you go there, you find JB Dankwa statue. Go to Tetteh Quashie Runabout. There's nothing Tetteh Quashie about that runabout. We went to the president. We raised some of these issues. And Anado was touched and said that he will use his personal money to raise a monument at Tetteh Quashie Runabout to honor Tetteh Quashie. These are some of the celebrations we want to give Tetteh Quashie. Like I said, there are too many national holidays already. I don't think we should be adding more. But what we can do, or what we have set out to do, is that every 27th March, we'll hold a Durbar. This year, we've missed it. But every year, we'll hold a Durbar to honor Tetteh Quashie. And based on that, we also honor people who are doing exploit in the cocoa value chain. Also, the day Tetteh Quashie passed to eternity, we have been celebrating that day. We always go to church service. That is 25th December. And then we go to his graveyard to pray. And then we go to church as well to pray. And the evening we sit down with family and friends to have a dinner in honor of him. But for his birthday, it has been earmarked for an annual Durbar to honor Tetteh Quashie and people who are doing exploit in the cocoa industry.
Wow, good.
Rating.
So at least something has come up from my thoughts that I just dropped now, that we are looking forward to see Tetteh Quashie monuments at Tetteh Quashie Runabout. Is that clear?
Yes, when the president made that statement, we as a foundation and as a family, we didn't want to sit down for the president himself to go and look for architectural designs and all of that. Mm-hmm. So we have gone ahead to engage the University of Education, their sculpture unit, to present drawings, and they have presented fantastic drawings. We have also engaged another structural engineer to do a super structure at the Tetteh Quashie Runabout. That will have one of the feet. You see, when you see Tetteh Quashie Runabout, there's a motorway that runs through it, and then the Accra Legon Road also runs through it. So there are 4 squares within the Tetteh Quashie Runabout. And this super structure we are saying, each of the foot will rest in one of the quadrangles, one of the squares. Mm-hmm. To be a real super structure that you need a speed this thing lift to be able to climb it. All of these things have been planned, and many other things. So we really go to turn the Tetteh Quashie Runabout into a pleasure garden. That at every now and then you go there to have pleasure. We serve you cocoa drink, we serve you coffee, we serve you all manner of things. All of these have been planned, they are in the pipeline, and we implement all of them.
If I may ask, how soon are we going to see this beautiful garden of Tetteh Quashie?
Yeah, it's going to be soon. Now, what we are doing is that the foundation have written officially to government to take ownership of the runabout. We have written officially, and the government referred us to Ghana Highway Authority because they have oversight responsibility about the runabout. We have gone to meet with them, and then they have welcomed our idea. We took our structural engineer there. He went to do a presentation to them. They have worked together to rectify situations where it will affect driver visibility when a driver is using that road. Mm-hmm. All of them are being rectified. So it's a process that is already ongoing. And I'm not going to give you, because what we want to do is capital intensive. And I'm not going to tell you that it's going to you go to see it tomorrow or today. But I can assure you that all the negotiations to take ownership of the runabout by the foundation and develop it into a way that will befit the status of Tetteh Quashie is ongoing.
The reason why I ask you is that I will be honest and upfront. I have a fear because Ghana has been a place where one government initiated something and they start and another government show up and they neglect that idea or project. I'll be honest and I'm not lying. So that is my fear that I'm asking that is this going to be completed with this government or it is something that will take longer than that, at least this just a rough estimate. That's my fear and I'm being honest about it.
Tetteh Quashie is bigger than government. Tetteh Quashie is bigger than political party. When you see the constitution of the Tetteh Quashie Heritage Foundation, every sitting president is a life patron.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, every sitting president is a patron. Is enshrined is in our constitution. Every sitting president, what Tetteh Quashie has done has not benefited one government. It has benefited the entire country. So I don't see why, and we are not partisan with the what do you call it, the foundation. Mm-hmm. We are going to see former President Kufuor. We have seen the current president. His Excellency, former President Mahama, gave us a schedule, but unfortunately something came up and we couldn't meet him. We have met His Excellency, former President John Rawlings, and all of them gave us. So the only person that is left for us, and now that the elections and everything has toned down, that we can go and meet is the former President John Dramani Mahama. It is not partisan. What we're doing is national in dimension. And therefore, we don't see anybody coming to thwart whatever we have done. What Nana Addo has promised is a monument at Tetteh Quashie Runabout from his own personal resources.
Okay.
You understand? For that, we are assured he will do it before he goes. But the superstructure thing is the initiative of the foundation. And I can assure you that no government will come and do, because what we are doing is rather going to bring glory to the country. Yes.
Thank you so much. At least now I can rest because I have some here. And I'm grateful and I'm looking forward for this day. I'm looking forward to be present while this monument will be unveiling, this garden will be unveiling. We ask for God blessings and guidance for us to meet that day. So we're all going to celebrate Tetteh Quashie's legacy and birthday, and I'm really looking forward for it.
We'll fly you to Ghana to come and have a feel of it. Don't worry.
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward. Viewers and listeners, if you just join us, we have Mr. Opai Tetteh, the popularly known cocoa farmer. When I say that,
yes, I'm the cocoa farmer.
Because I know that he carries a lot of hats and different. So I couldn't even pinpoint which one I could use, but because we are talking about Tetteh Quashie's legacy, Tetteh Quashie's life and everything, I say, let's use a cocoa farmer. Then when we get to this side, we use that because he's a man of many hats. And Tetteh Quashie has done a great achievement to Ghana. So that's why we are talking about him. And 27th March will be Tetteh Quashie birthday. And if Tetteh Quashie would have been alive today, Tetteh Quashie will be 179 years old, which is going to be very, very old. Although he is not alive, but his legacy is still alive. So technically he is still alive because you cannot mention cocoa without mentioning Tetteh Quashie. So Tetteh Quashie will forever live. Mr. Pai Tetteh, am I on the right path?
Oh yes, Tetteh Quashie's legacy will live on as long as we find use for cocoa. His legacy will live on. Yes, and not only through his progeny or his children, but his works. And the foundation that was formed and established and registered is one of the ways that point to the fact that his legacy will still live on. One of the Tetteh Quashie had an unfinished business. The man was a blacksmith, he was a shoemaker, he was a cook, he was everything.
He's a handyman.
So, yes, so one of the things he wanted to do before he died in 1892 was to set up a vocational and technical training center to train people, because he believes that everybody must know how to do something with his or her hand. You remember last time I saw you in video sewing stuff, and I asked, hey, Key Mama, with all your expertise in the medical industry, in the other social and events and all of that, can you sew as well? I said, yes. You learned how to sew when you were in Ghana, and you have still carried that with you. That was the mindset of Tetteh Quashie. Tetteh Quashie believes that if there's any chaos or mutiny or confusion in Ghana, and they put a bus or a plane or a ship down and they carry you to some island, you should be able to survive there because you have a skill, you have something you can do with your hand. That's why I'm a proud cocoa farmer. Wherever I touch and cocoa can be grown, I have job. I will never go hungry. So Tetteh Quashie had that mindset that we should take technical and vocational education and training seriously in this country. So when we made the same statement before the president in his office, he also again said that he was going to connect or link Tetteh Quashie's name to TVET education in this country, which is another big good news for us. Wow. So Tetteh Quashie's name is going to be attached to technical and vocational education and training in Ghana. It's another big thing. Currently, we have acquired a place on the Spintex Road that we are going to set up the Tetteh Quashie Technical Training Institute. And then a Ghanaian from Akuapem Mampong who went to Canada and raised money to set up a vocational school in the name of Tetteh Quashie at Akuapem Mampong. But he ordered that it should be free. Unfortunately, he set the thing up on Methodist church land. But because he said they shouldn't take money, now they've left the whole thing, is almost rotten. We have applied, we have spoken to the paramount chief of Akuapem Mampong, Osaberima Kwame Otudate, and then the Methodist Church, and they are ready to also give us that facility to also set up. So we are going to set up 2 model Tetteh Quashie technical training centers, one on the Spintex Road and one at Akuapem Mampong. We believe that if we are able to do this and we give people skill, the issue of migration will come down, and also the Tetteh Quashie's legacy or his vision of having people getting skills will be achieved. So these are some of the things that are in the pipeline that we are pushing very, very hard.
Thank you so much for this insight and education you have given Key Mama viewers and listeners. I know you're a very busy man. You squeeze yourself to be on this show today for us to remember late Tetteh Quashie, who brought cocoa to Ghana. Before you leave, what's some of your, what is your closing remarks and advice to our young fellows who are coming up and they think that everything is like a magic that they can get overnight? What is your advice and your closing remarks?
A philosopher once said that history is made daily and not in a day. So whatever we do every day in our daily lives will end up one day being written as history or an achievement. I want to tell the next generation that it's better to go through the mill and be well grilled and drilled to become a full adult when you grow up. There's no point in hasting in life. Sometimes I look at what Tetteh Quashie went through in life, and then the name he has made for himself. Last time we went to President Kufuor, he said, look, young men, stop wasting your energy. Tetteh Quashie has written his story already. Tetteh Quashie has achieved his legacy, and nobody can delete what he has achieved.
Mhm.
That's what the former President Kufuor told us. He's done it. So this is the guy who started as a complete orphan, but he went through thick and thin. Today, he has a legacy that 170 years later, we are still talking about it. We just want to tell the youth that it pays to wait. And then they should also work very hard and smart. It's not all about instant money, quick money. No. Let's learn to endure. It is always very, very important. I also want to encourage, especially Gadangme people, that there are a lot of achievers. I'm happy Kimama is coming up with a show called The Makers of Ghana. And we'll talk about every tribe in this country and people that have achieved greatness. And we hear that the Gadangme people have also achieved greatness, and that should motivate you. Don't throw in the towel yet. Don't give up yet. There are a lot of people who have done great things in this country, and when we hear their story, it will motivate you to continue the fight. I want to encourage every young man coming up. If you have opportunity to go to school, study hard. If you have opportunity to learn a trade, learn it with all the zeal and energy in you. Whatever you find yourself to do it as if God has asked you to do it. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you once again, Mr. Tetteh, for joining me on Key Mama Show. And God bless you for all you're doing for our youth and the generation to come, and especially the Gandangbe people that you are very passionate about, education in every area and aspect. And continue to write your short articles. And thank you also once again to helping the Key Mama Foundation to, achieve wonders in Ghana. And God bless you. Oh, thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. God bless you. Bye bye. And lovely viewers, before we leave, I'd like to once remind you again August 10th, we're having a big kickoff of the Gandangbe homecoming. So be prepared. It's also the Homo War festivity. This year, the Mashi Homo War will be on the 7th. And people are like, it's never happened before. But hey, who knows? Now times change. Who knows that we'll be facing coronavirus? So be prepared. The Gamashi Homo War will be August 7th. And also the homecoming kickoff will be August 10th in Ghana. And we are going to celebrate. Mr. Paitete, I hope you will come and meet us at the airport for us to.
I'll be there in numbers.
Thank you very much. And also, do not forget this year, the Key Mama Foundation Children's Family Mix and Mingle will be June 5th at Crotona Park. There might be some restrictions, but they are allowing us to have the event. Also, we are going to have the Ghana Fest, which is August 7th, also at Crotona Park. So this is the announcement for the community. And God bless you. Continue to follow Key Mama Show, Gashitamo Show, that we speak Ga every Tuesday. Subscribe to my YouTube page. God bless you. If you wanted to donate to support our cause for the Key Mama Foundation, www.thekeymamafoundation.org. Please, no amount is too small. God will bless you. Take care. Bye.